play that deck.
Yeah, and we are going to see likely why it is a 3-0 deck right here.
There are the prizes, though, and Villarreal, of course, the draw engine, important for Cyrus, hitting the prizes, and PalkiaVStar. Nice mixed bag after that, though, and another mixed bag as well for Avarim. So nothing too crazy. The Irida, Drizzile, Mani. One of the cross switches, which does, of course, limit you. If you've only got 3 available to you, you have to wait till that comes out the prizes to make the second one. But that is something that, Avarim has the option to start taking those prizes. Both of these decks swing pretty hard and swing pretty fast as well.
Yeah, I think we can live with these prize cards. Both players looking to get ready. Here we are, the fist bump to get things underway here, and Cyrus is going to start things off with a very nice Pokemon in the active spot.
Yeah, definitely the Pokemon you want to see in the active, that Arceus V being able to get you off to a very good start, attaching the grass energy to it. The Path of the Peak pop down in play as well, and then of course passing over to Avarim. Nothing else to do, but no immediate threat of one of those knockouts. So you've got a little bit of time, and assuming that hand is full of goodies like supporters, then you'll be able to keep on going. But speaking of good starts, the double battle VIP pass for Avarim Villarreal, being able to go in and just grab 4 basic Pokemon.
Yeah, if you're trying to go to the Blink-182 concert, you want those. Those are definitely going to be nice.
Yeah, those are going to be able to fill the bench, and you can already see Avarim has got so many good candidates, needs to get some of those Sobbles down, wants to get the Palkias in play as well, so they can be evolved in the next turn. So just going through and counting the cards, making sure the prizes are all accounted for. I did notice a fun little card in there, the one you and I were talking about coming into this game. There is a Crabominable V in there, so I saw it lingered on a little bit actually, as Avarim was checking their prizes, so just making sure that that's available. But it's just going to be a nice pairing, 2 Sobble, 2 Palkia, or Origin Form Palkia V to be precise.
Yep, this is just a nice classic start here. Have the Sobbles down, multiple Palkia V, so you don't have to worry about anything crazy happening on this opening turn. The one issue we see right now is that Path to the Peak is in play, so that's going to mean this Water Energy is just an attachment instead of a concealed cards.
And that's going to be a pass after the bench has been filled up, and it just goes on to one of the Palkia. You do want to get those ready to go and start swinging with Subspace Swell. But an immediate evolve into the PalkiaVStar for Cyrus, being able to access that Starbirth ability is certainly going to help out if the hand is looking a little bit clunky. But there's more to play before we get there. Looks like we're starting out with the Quick Ball, discard of the Mani, and right back into the deck to keep some Pokemon on the bench.
Yeah, if you're going to miss out on Requiem, Starbirth is probably a decent thing to do instead. Just the consistency that it brings the deck, being able to find a card like that double turbo energy, get those energies accelerated early and often, and start to get cards like that Giratina working. And we already see right now, Quick Ball going for that Pumpkaboo, going to be getting that Path to the Peak out of the way so that Starbirth can get online.
Yep, needs to be able to make sure that's cleared out. It does, of course, have a rule box, so it doesn't have an ability while Path to the Peak is in play. Mani, being played there. Very small hand for Cyrus, hitting the bottom of their deck. That's going to be just the 2 cards put down. Both trainers deciding just to tap the hand. I think that seems to be the standard here. And there it is, 5 cards for Cyrus and 4 cards for Avarim. Is the turn going to keep going? There is exactly what is needed in the double turbo. So the Requiem potentially coming through on this turn to keep things going.
This is really good. The Quick Ball there as well means that you'll be able to find the Giratina, and then you'll have the access to start charging that up by way of the PalkiaVStar. And then the only thing you need to think about is if you want to use Starbirth for a card like Path to the Peak and just lock your opponent back into place again.
Yeah, I mean, you use the Starbirth, you have used your main ability for the game. There it is. There's the flip of the V-Star marker, I believe, slightly off screen. So yeah, the deck is continuing with the search. Another double turbo being pulled to the front, or just keeping it going. And yeah, of course, there's one. As you rightly called it, the Path to the Peak is going to be able to shut down so much of Avarim's deck. Outside the Sobble and Drizzile, I mean, the Radiant Greninja probably going to get knocked out, but no concealed cards. And then, of course, the Origin Form Palkia being limited in its options as well. So 2 cards for Cyrus. And yeah, it's going to be finally time to shuffle the deck, I think, unless we're going back in. Doesn't look like it. Path to the Peak, yeah, going back in, of course, with Trinity Nova, being able to grab those energy and attach them all to this Giratina V.
Yeah, that is definitely a threatening turn 2 to take away your opponent's main draw engine in that Radiant Greninja. Of course, you can always do some searching with some Drizziles, and we expect to see that later on, but this is a very nice disruptive opener and aggressive as well.
It's taking out really important pieces as well. I mean, there is, of course, so much support with the shady dealings available from Drizziles and later off Inteleons, but You know, how many times do you see players just rip a concealed cards turn 1, get a couple extra cards to just really accelerate that turn? So not being able to do that turn 1 and not being able to do it now could slow Avarim down. But a Capacious Bucket means at least Avarim can go in and grab some energy out of the deck. That is going to be important. There is potentially a window later on as well where you're going to be able to want to, you know, finally activate some abilities from the Origin form Palkia, and you know, you do need water in the right place.
Yeah, you're going to see the weakness of this deck when it doesn't find those waters in the discard pile early on. You're not going to be able to get access to them by Star Portal anytime soon. Of course, we see the path there as well, but just being a deck that has to attach and go over and over again, that's not really conducive for victory.
And there's the second energy from the Capacious Bucket. Avarin probably taking another check of the prizes there as well. Nothing wrong with that. Making sure you can get going. Also, the numbers are very limited on the bench. An Evolution Incense does come through. That's got to be a Drizzile to be able to keep the hand moving along with these shady dealings. You know, it looks like we're bringing a card to the front. Sequence it very nicely. There we go. Drizzile, activate shady dealings, and the Irida. Very neatly done.
Yeah, we saw, I believe, Rare Candy was sprinkled in there as well. So some potential to get an Inteleon online out of nowhere later on, but going to just forego that here and go for that Drizzile and the Evolution Incense. Play this a little slower.
The Evolution Incense probably helping out in the next turn, or potentially just being able to, you know, upgrade this Origin form Palkia V into something a little more juicy and a little more damaging, with access, of course, to subspace as well. Drizzile goes down onto the bench. We're just making sure. Oh, looks like we've got a small concern here. The Evolution Incense was off the Irida, so that hasn't been played yet. That has to go to the hand.
Yeah, it looks a little confusing when you grab Drizzile and Evolution Incense at the same time, but because usually one's finding the other.
Yeah, we've resolved it there nice and neatly, though. The shady dealings is what we're searching for now. So being able to play that one quite smartly. Another Evolution Incense. I mean, if you've got one, why not have two? But that means, you know, everything on this board is going to be able to be evolved now, or even the next turn, if you want to be looking for something like that Inteleon as well. So just making sure everything's sequenced properly as the deck is shuffled. Have to imagine that, you know, there is going to be the opportunity to go back in, but there's the attach that water grabbed earlier with the Capacious Bucket, and yeah, there's still we don't even need to go for the V-Star. There's one just in the hand.
Yeah, it's a nice place to have it, and we see now already 4 Pokemon on the bench right now. PalkiaVStar going to be hitting for 180 damage right now.
Not bad, not bad at all. It's not enough to be threatening the knockout, but it is nice enough to soften it up. But GiratinaVStar coming right into play with a follow-up Giratina V for Cyrus Davis. I mean, that GiratinaVStar is very, very powerful and would do an absolute number on something like this Origin form PalkiaVStar, hitting exactly the numbers that you need as well.
It's a good place to have it. Wow, looky there. Judge.
Took me a moment to recognize that R. Yeah, that is an old R, not the one that we have available to us here. But both trainers shuffling into their deck and drawing 4 cards, those of you who have forgotten about it from a little while ago. But you know, it does mean that Avarin took all that time grabbing out the Evolution Incenses, you know, one with the Irida, one, of course, with the Shady Dealings, and those are just going right back into the deck. So that could slow Avarin down even further.
This is a cute tech to add into the deck. You're tired of your opponents playing these Orangaroos and these Rotom phones and messing with the top card of their deck over and over again. Just make them shuffle and draw 4.
Yep, well, it's going to be the retreat, discarding that double turbo energy, so the Arceus V-Star back on the bench, nice and safe from getting easily knocked out. But there's been a whole lot of disruption here. You know, there is going to be we're choosing the energy, I believe, for that Giratina V-Star's lost impact. So yeah, the one on the bench and the one on the Arceus V is gone, and Lost Zone's full, and that's an easy knockout onto the Origin form Palkia V-Star.
Yeah, that's really clean, just being able to take those energies off of the bench Pokemon. You still have that Giratina ready to go in the active. And then when you're looking for the 2 energies to discard next turn, you could just look at a double turbo attachment and be lined up for another big knockout.
Yeah, that is one thing I do like a lot about this this deck. I know at the beginning I said it's a bit weird having the Giratina not able to, you know, kind of go really, really quickly and maybe sneak in an easy knockout with Star Requiem, but, you know, it just feels like it's certainly an option.
Yeah, ignoring an attack as strong as Star Requiem is hard to do, but also the card's just broken, doing 280 damage, so
yeah,
you just do it anyways.
280 damage, exactly what you need to knock out one of these Origin form Palkia as well. So it's working out very, very nicely in Cyrus's favor, and Avarim not able to fire back after that brutal judge from earlier on. Doesn't look like there's much in the hand. I'm seeing a Water Energy, another piece of a Palkia puzzle, a cross switcher. Yeah, it's not looking great. Oh, and a rare candy too. So it's just not looking good. That judge being very impactful.
Yeah, usually you get to complain about the cards on the bottom of your deck from a Marnie when your hand's disrupted. Say, oh, I have all my Evolution Incense, went to the bottom, that's why I'm not drawing anything. No, you're just unlucky. Like,
yeah,
you had the odds.
Yeah, they were in there. They were shuffled right back in. There's that double turbo energy attachment there that you talked about, Kyle, going down onto the PalkiaVStar. The other Giratina is getting there. It's going to be set up. I mean, there's also a world where you could play this one a little bit differently. Choice Belt going down onto the Giratina V.
Why not?
Yeah, what else are you doing with it? And there it is. 280 damage onto the Drizzile. Some would say excessive.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Is it enough for a KO?
I would certainly hope so.
Yeah.
And at this point, you have to be thinking that Cyrus is looking to close things up here.
Yes.
Oh,
it gets worse. The boss's orders, all Avarim has available, pulling up that GiratinaVStar, who is, of course, not got any energy on it, isn't going to be able to lost impact, but a pass, leaving that Sobble in the active. There's a Marnie I see in hand. We got plenty of cards in hand. Oh, another Choice Belt. Just what we need in this matchup.
Do you ever just pass? Say, hey, you're not drawing anything. I'll just wait too.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, it's hard to make yourself do that.
This could be a rough Marnie though. I mean, Avarim had absolutely nothing in the hand, so you've got to be conscious that those kind of not helpful cards are now trapped on the bottom. But only getting 4 as well could be another absolute shocking set, like the 4 that were received from the judge. So there's the double turbo energy down onto Giratina, and as you called it, the pass. Why not?
This is perfect. You have the energy, so you're lined up for the retreat knockout next turn. You just need that boss's orders to remove the Palkia, and the only thing that's really threatening you right now would be a V Pokemon anyways. If your opponent's going to bring up an Inteleon and hit for 120, you're very comfortable with that.
Hey, he found this Evolution Incense. They're in the hand right now. There's the Evolution Incense. After, of course, that Palkia V is evolved into the PalkiaVStar. Another Sobble goes down. So the bench looking a little bit more full, looking to reach some of those numbers with Subspace Swell, potentially. But, of course, the Evolution Incense does have to be sequenced properly. Let's just make sure we see it all. We're playing Evolution Incense. Let's make sure that we get the Pokemon that we require. We know what one it is. Thank you very much. It's going to be the Inteleon, so we can then go for the Shady Dealings.
Roxanne is an evolution, right? She's not.
Yeah.
She's not basic.
That's a debate I'm not getting into, and that's opinions at that point. But there is the Inteleon. There, of course, is one of those cards that we saw him trying to pull the Evolution Incense, but got it right this time. Very easy to do. People rush and they make mistakes, so I'm glad we're seeing more deliberate play this time.
Yep, take your time here, make sure you do everything right. Of course, it is a very dangerous spot to be in. Your opponent has just 2 prize cards remaining. It's going to take a lot to get the job done, and I think it involves the Inteleon in some form or another, so we'll see just how that works out.
Yeah, so Roxanne and Capacious Bucket being pulled off that Shady Dealings from Inteleon. Of course, you do get your choice of 2 with that, an upgrade on the 1 that your Drizzile will give you. Capacious Bucket goes and grabs a singular energy. And let's see how quickly that Roxanne gets played. There's not much else to be doing with it. It is going to be the attachment onto the Inteleon, so looking for one of those Aqua Bullet plays to at least get some prizes going. Scoop Up Net grabs the Sobble out the active. That's going to be the Inteleon left, just sitting up there, ready to go. Sobble back down, and of course the Roxanne trying to punish.
Yeah, so you can already see how this lines up, just trying to use the Aqua Bullet and soften up this GiratinaVStar, and mainly this is just a nod to the fact that you're terrified of the GiratinaVStar on the bench. You want your opponent to have to retreat, go in, attack, waste their energies, have just 1 energy available potentially, and then maybe your window opens up for PalkiaVStar to get aggressive.
Yeah, but you've got to be careful with it. You really need to to let Cyrus run out of energy first. Because at the
Absolutely.
moment, I mean, if you're, like you say, wasting one of these on the retreat, it's going to be really difficult to get down those 2 energy and keep those energy available for this Giratina. So maybe just throwing up these single prizes is going to be Avarim's way, but he's still got a long way to go. I mean, it's 6 prizes to 2. That is a whole lot of work that needs to be done. A quick ball following it up, so, you know, expanding the bench a little bit, potentially for that subspace swell. Let's see what is grabbed. Is going to be that Crabominable.
Yeah. This is fun to see because we already see some damage in play. And of course, if you start sprinkling in a little bit of extra damage with Aqua Bullet, then maybe the numbers line up a little better.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of work for the Crabominable to do, though, with that Destroyer punch, being able to get knockouts. And there's the Aqua Bullet. Yeah, throwing damage down onto the Giratina and throwing a little bit down on the other Giratina on the bench as well. So, like you say, you know, being able to reach those numbers with the Destroyer punch is going to be the potential way, but you'd probably need a little more Aqua Bullet damage, and I just don't see a world where that is going to be sticking around for the next turn. The numbers don't quite add up for me.
Well, I don't know if Cyrus has the cards in hand right now to say anything different, because you might just want to pass at this point and try to line up the boss's orders.
Yeah, I mean, the Roxanne really could have hurt Cyrus there. Looking down, a little bit perturbed by it. Of course, if you retreat this GiratinaVStar, then you don't have the energy just knocking about to be throwing it away willy-nilly with that lost impact. There is going to be a powerful energy and a pass. So this Aqua Bullet is going to be a given time to actually stack up.
Yep, this is understandable, of course, because if your opponent ends up taking a knockout, then you just walk in with a boss's orders and you can win the game. And you're buying yourself some additional turns right now to find something off the top of the deck. But this is such a weird spot to be in.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like Cyrus was running away with the game, but sort of, I don't say running out of steam, but getting stuck in a sticky situation with this Giratina left in the active. The Irida, though, coming through for Avarim, being able to go in and could start looking around for some extra pieces. It's going to be 1 item, 1 water Pokemon. There's the item being selected. That's the rare candy. Oh, not yet. Spoke too soon, Kyle.
I think it's coming.
What do I know? Anyway, there is, of course, the Inteleon and the rare candy. Yeah, makes a lot of sense to pair those off together when all you've got is Sobble on the bench. So rare candy into the Inteleon and an immediate shady dealings for 2 cards. Looks like a pair of cross switches hitting that bench.
For what it's worth, when I first played Pokemon, I always used the rare candy as the replacement of the middle stage. I just left it there.
Oh,
but it's not correct.
Is that good etiquette? I don't think that's good etiquette.
It makes sense though. Like you feed them a candy and then you go in.
I understand that, but it's not a Pokemon.
Yeah.
Also, you need it in the discard as soon as it's played in case you're pulling it out.
All right. Well, if you want to follow the rules, yeah, it's correct. So.
Haven't you been playing for a long time?
No, that's
you know
why I'm at the bench, my guy.
Wait, is that what we're doing here? Anyway, it is going to be a cross-switcher play into that Arceus V-Star. So the other Inteleon coming into the active. This does not have energy on it, though. So no way to be going crazy with the Aqua Bullet. It's going to be a discard and retreat. There is now a good chunk of water in the discard as well. So a Star Portal, if this Path to the Peak can be dealt with, that's the big concern, though.
Yeah, well, right now, this is the big turn right now. Cyrus has to find that boss's orders to get the job done. Don't see it, though. It's going to be that professor's research off the top.
It's not going to be coming this turn. You don't get another supporter. There's a Crobat. There's a lot of cards in there, but I'm not seeing a boss's orders there, Kyle.
Yeah, this is pretty scary. You have to think about limiting your bench sizes right here, too, because you don't want to walk into PalkiaVStar. You have to start thinking about how much damage this Crabominable could be potentially doing if the Path to the Peak gets countered soon.
I'm not sure, though. The big concern for me is, does Avarim have a way to get rid of this Path to the Peak? Looking at the lists and some of those ideas that we've seen, I just don't see one particularly available. And that means that, you're never going to be able to use the PalkiaVStar.
Yeah, is it just the training court?
I mean, yeah, you just have to bump it. I think that's the only way. And if you can't find that training court for some reason, then you're just stuck. I mean, the big play here, of course, that we're looking for at the end, I think, for Avarim is, being able to activate that, get a bunch of energy onto the Crabominable, and just go crazy with it. Of course, you do have to kind of clean up the game at that point, which is a lot to do. Oh, there's the training court in hand, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, that's going to be absolutely huge. Does have a Path to the Peak as well. So Crabominable taking the active slot. This could be that big kind of explosive turn. And get rid of this Giratina because, like I say, the energy is just looking lacking, for Cyrus outside of that.
Yeah, the big point to note for Cyrus last turn was that double turbo attachment to the Arceus V means that Potentially, there is a final attacker ready to go if this GiratinaVStar were to fall. Just looking for that energy, and then a Boss's Orders knockout on a Sobble would be enough to close the game out. So certainly some play if this Giratina were to fall, but you certainly don't love seeing that get knocked out.
No, and there's the Raihan coming through for Avarim, being able to go and get an energy card out of the discard. That's going to be one that the Abominable V needs. It's got 3 energy required. It's going to be all water in this deck, but there is, of course, 2 water and a colorless on that. Avarim checking the prizes, trying to see how many outs there potentially are if this Abominable is just left in the active at the end of the turn. So the Raihan been played. That means the deck is searchable now, able to go grab any card out the deck, because of course that Inteleon went down in the last turn. There's a cross switcher, and that's going to be certainly something that you have to be considering for a late game play, knowing of course at this point the other cross switcher, the 4th one, is in the prizes.
Yeah, just understanding that you're going to draw 2 prizes, that's 50% chance to grab the other one and look to close things out here.
And that's a very thin deck as well for Avarim, using all the resources to get there. So Training Court's now in play. There is, of course, access to PalkiaVStar, being able to finally flip that V-Star marker. There it is. And there's 1, 2, and is there another one in there? Yes, there is. There's plenty in the back. 3 energy.
It's almost all the energies.
Yeah, being thrown down there. So 2 into the Abominable, 1 onto the V-Star. Nice and easily done. And, of course, this Abominable is ready to attack. That is going to be the way back into the game. And those earlier, snipes down onto that GiratinaVStar put it well in range for that Destroyer Punch.
Yeah, often you're looking for this deck to do quick shooting or something to help get the damage down there. It's just Aqua Bullet getting the job done here. Destroyer Punch going to remove this Giratina all the way to the discard pile. Looking for the last prizes of the game here now is Cyrus.
Cyrus has to find a knockout this turn. There is an Ultra Ball, discarding one of those Galarian Zigzagoons and the B-Doof. There's the Arceus V-Star being pulled into play as well.
There's a Crobat in the hand as well.
Oh, there's a Crobat. This is a lot of digging. But, you've got to get a Boss's Orders or just a way to make sure you can knock out this Abominable. A Bibarel too, to keep things going with the Industrious Incisors. So all Cyrus needs is just either a way to knock out Abominable or a way to grab one of these Sobbles off the bench. There's the Crobat.
All right.
So let's see it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It was an empty hand. I'm seeing a Marnie.
You see the energy and a quick ball, so can thin down a little more.
There's going to
we do see the Boss's Orders in the deck.
It is in there, so we know that there's obviously it's got to be hit. I think with Industrious Incisors now.
Yep.
That's going to be the out, but that deck's looking mighty thin. Is there anything else that Cyrus can get rid of their hand?
Think
of course,
bench,
1 on the bench. There's the attach. You do need, of course, need the 3rd energy, so it's going to be, what is that? A draw for
3.
3 to hit.
Oh boy.
Here we go. So Industrious Incisors for 1. Oh, 2 and 3. Oh, that is not the supporter.
Rope.
Oh, the rope. It's dangerous.
Doesn't get the job done.
I mean,
unless Avarim just walks into it. But
no, we'll see. Looks like Cyrus knows it's not coming this turn. That single prize eluding them in this game. But of course, the Arceus V-Star, there is options. The Arceus V-Star would be able to put down some big damage. Trinity Nova, that would be, really good damage, but there's no way to adjust it to get over the line for the Abominable V.
Now the question, do you just rope to a 1-prize Pokemon and just pass?
I mean, the Abominable V only has 220, so if there was a potential choice belt in there as well, that would have been able to get there. But, think about the early game. Cyrus was so liberal with those choice belts. They're just not available now. So that 200 is going to be the max. It is going to have to be the Marnie, which is big. Of course, Cyrus doesn't know it, but Avarim did have that combination of the double cross switcher available. So being able to deal with that, definitely helpful. I think this Marnie is sort of the only way to go. Those cross switchers are now just stuck on the bottom of the deck.
Yeah, and that's the difference between that Marnie and the Judge, getting them played at the right time, getting those big cards onto the bottom of the deck.
Yeah, no easy way. I'm not seeing a boss there, so that cross switcher endgame is taken away. And the Path to the Peak comes back into play. And Evolution Incense, oh my god, that deck is so mighty thin. That's everything coming out of it with the Trinity Nova.
And just going to juice up the Crobat V here with Trinity Nova. Why not? Just give yourself an option to retreat potentially with it.
Well, there's the Manaphy down. There's the Galarian Zigzagoon. That is going to put down a little extra damage to try and help out.
Oh. This is 10 short.
It's going to be really, really close. Let's do the count
No,
real
this
quick.
is
There's 10 on the bench.
260, 290. No, this is plenty, right?
260, 290 plus the 10. Yeah, you're already there.
Yeah, no.
So you just need to make sure this Crabominable gets out the active. Palkia gets the
job done. But when you have that path down, that's when things get awkward.
All right, thank you, Avarim, for tidying those ones up. It is an Origin form PalkiaVStar, a Sobble, Echoing Horn, one of those Battle VIP passes, the Melanie and the Quick Ball in there as well. So certainly a mixed bag. But ooh, that is not your preferred opener, I don't think.
How dare you? No, Manaphy is ideal. Manaphy is the king. Rain Splash can get the job done. Just need a little extra time.
Yeah, that's going to be a slow one. We do not have much time on the clock, but there is, of course, plays to be made for. Avarin is going to be kicking things off with the Quick Ball, discarding that Water Energy, and right in the deck we go. Ooh, another Galarian Zigzagoon. Could have had them matched up.
Looking at the hand, this is a debate right now. Do you go for the Palkia V, play it slow, or do you go for the Greninja and try to draw into a Battle VIP pass?
It's going to be Palkia V. There's your decision made for you. I was about to ruminate on it with you, but then I realized, I think Avarin just... maybe it's whatever you see first. Maybe that's the way to go. when you're up against the clock, whichever one you brush by first, it's probably the way.
Yeah, this is safer. You already have the energy in hand. You can get that attachment down really wherever. It doesn't matter too much. And I mean, doesn't feel great because you don't have any Sobbles and you have a very low hand, but at least the Irida to follow up.
Well, there's moving over to Cyrus's turn. They've got the Arceus V. They're able to attach a Grass Energy to it. There's a Switch to get it into the active, get that Galarian Zigzagoon somewhere useful, and a Marnie right away. So just disrupting Avarin's hand has been really important in this game, I think. So why not? Your Marnies have been successful every other turn. Why not keep it going?
I mean, your opponent played the path for you, so you don't have to worry about Star Portal. You're in a really great spot. You can feel comfortable just leaving the Arceus V in the active with an energy. And now Avarin finds the Battle VIP pass. Why?
Yeah, not when you want to see it. That is my concern with the card, is for a large portion of the game, if you don't have a way to easily discard it, it is just fodder, as Avarin seems to be resigned to a not very playable hand, we'll put it that way.
That's a really nice way to say that, yeah. Well, this hand is very playable. There's a lot of ways to thin the hand down and get some additional Pokemon in play.
Ooh.
The debate here now is, do you want to work this in with a boss's orders on a Palkia V, or do you want to just go all draw a brand new hand with Professor's Research?
Well, Cyrus is making the same play they did in game number one, actually.
Look.
Being able to, just go crazy with it. And, discard that Path to the Peak. Activate your Arceus V Star, Star Birth, grab all the pieces you need, like, ooh, I don't know, a double Turbo Energy. And then, of course, Trinity Nova 200 and get some big damage down. There is, of course, the boss's orders in hand that, could grab that Palkia V.
I think it wants Sobble at this point. This feels like that kind of play where you already have the...
There's the boss, yeah, there's the Sobble summoned. And, of course, the Arceus V well within its ranges of getting that knockout.
Yeah, you can see this deck has the reach for a knockout on a Pokemon like Palkia V. If there were enough cards in the hand, something to work in that...
so close. So close to the choice belt
or anything. No, not there.
Do you go bottom right or bottom left to start?
Ooh.
What sort of
I'm left-handed, so...
You're bottom left?
Yeah.
I think that's fair. But if that choice belt had come up, that would have made that Palkia V very, very tempting in the following turn. Avarin still deciding what to promote in this game, but looks way off the pace. Let's see what that Marnie did to them early on. I know a cancelling Cologne isn't exactly what you need. That's not really helping in this matchup at all. Of course, as you rightfully called out, that Battle VIP pass is a dead card as well. And Crabominable V.
Strictly for intimidation purposes at this point.
I'll do it. You've got so much damage on the board, but one day I'll play that Destroyer Punch. Professor's Research, as we go back over to Cyrus's turn. This is looking very, very healthy indeed. Plenty of energy in there and plenty of search too. There is that choice belt as well to be able to push for the knockout on an Origin form Palkia V. So if it needs it, it's there. Quick Ball discarding Ultra Ball. I think it's the second time Cyrus has done it this game, so showing which ball is much more important. But the Giratina V hits the bench. There is, of course, going to be the manual attachment. And yeah, it's just going to be another one of those Trinity Novas going and grabbing a bunch of energy.
Yeah, what a comfortable position to be in. You're just going ahead and taking 2 prize cards here early. There's 7 energies in play right now. Giratina hasn't even had to evolve into the V-Star just yet. You're looking at your opponent with just 1 Pokemon on their bench.
This is looking very painful for Avarim. Just the hand looking really, really bleak. A training court going down, maybe able to help a little bit, but offering up that Crabominable V.
Get him!
He's doing it. Oh, he's decided to swing with Crabominable's first attack, the Trigger Avalanche.
What an ideal attack to use in Salt Lake City, you know?
Yeah, that's wrong time. But yeah, I think Avarim realizes the writing's on the wall this one with 17 minutes on the clock. Didn't discard any exciting pieces and, of course, scoops that game. So Cyrus Davis advancing on to 4-0. That game, that was a clean one.
Yeah, that is a...